Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 142 based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yang. Mu Yingying suddenly exclaimed as Xiao Yang appeared. I'm fine, it's just that the Lord of Boundless Mountain took me to an unfamiliar space, and then wanted to devour the flames in my body. In the end, I didn't know why, but it was actually devoured. Xiao Yang said helplessly. If it's all right, let's go. This time the team game is full of flaws, let's go back and talk about it first. Xiong Yuan said slowly, and after that, he took a few people to the outside. Xiong Yuan didn't ask much about the flames on Xiao Yang's body. Anyway, he didn't have any doubts about Xiao Yang's words. Is it over, the thing of the five-element beast? Xiao Yang didn't seem to want to leave, but his soul force glanced around and did not find the whereabouts of the five-element beast. It seemed to have disappeared, and he said immediately, "Ah!" He sighed and left immediately. At that time, the Luolingshan team competition is completely over. Xiong Yuan and the others left Luoling Mountain and returned to Burning Incense Pavilion. You guys, go back first, and wait for the announcement of the reward. Mu Shuzi smiled. Okay. Qin Xin and the others dispersed when they heard the words, while Mu Yingying and Xiao Yang headed towards their residence. As for Xiao Yi, she had been lurking in Xiao Yang's body since Xiao Yang left the Holy Flame space. These guys are really the nemesis of Burning Incense Pavilion. Wherever they go, they will turn the world upside down. Seeing Xiao Yang and the others leave, Xiong Yuan spoke slowly. Although the specific reason is unknown in the Luoling Mountain, the spirit of the Luoling Mountain has fallen, and the special space of the Luoling Mountain also exists in name only. It's been a few years since the Zhongmen competition. I have confidence that this time our human palace, the Funxiang Pavilion, will shine. Mu Shuzi smiled slowly. By the way, the moving ruler of your human hall. Xiong Yuan suddenly remembered something. Since the establishment of the sect, that thing has been cultivated by the first generation of pavilion masters. Even now, no disciples have cultivated it. I don't know why. Mu Shuzi said with some doubts. The power of this heaven-shifting ruler is said to be extremely terrifying, but how terrifying it is, because no one has cultivated it, they don't know its power. This matter has to be slowed down for a while. Let's let these guys enter the cultivation place of the 3rd, 6th, and 9th grade. Where should their strength be improved? And according to the news from the palace master, it seems that there are ruins coming out, about half a year later. Mu Shuzi thought for a while, and then said thoughtfully. The ruins after half a year? Half a year should be enough for them to improve their strength in the 3, 6, 9, and other places. When the ruins are born, it will be just for them to temper. Then it's the sect competition. Xiong Yuan thought slowly in his heart. Let's go, it's better to go back and report to the old man now. Mu Shuzi nodded, and then walked towards the place where the old man was. Xiao Yang, why haven't they come back yet? I'm dying. Inside the Wuzhu residence, Mu Feng walked back and forth, facing the distance. Don't worry, Xiao Yang is sure that Jiren has a natural appearance and will be fine. Green Flute hurriedly comforted. The team competition this time is inexplicable. I always feel that we have been tricked by the sect. Mu Feng said with some unpleasantness in his heart. Thinking about it carefully, this time the Zhongmen team competed. On the surface, 10 of their teams entered the Luoling Mountain to compete for the first place, but now it seems that the Funxiang Pavilion has long known that the Luoling Mountain is not peaceful, and let them enter a good temporary. This shows that it is to trap them. I can't say that, at least we've gotten a little better. Green Flute couldn't deny Mu Feng's words, and shook his head. Oh, forget it, let's just wait and see. After Mu Feng finished speaking, he glanced around directly, and then slowly muttered to himself. Big brother. After Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying separated from Qin Xin, Xiao Yi, who had been attached to Xiao Yang's body, appeared instantly. Mu Yingying was a little surprised at the appearance of Xiao Yi at first, but now she is no longer surprised. Are you all right? Mu Yingying and Xiao Yang can be considered as sharing weal and woe, so Xiao Yang directly asked without shyness. It's okay, when I was possessed before, my body was a little weak, so I stayed in the eldest brother's body. Now my strength has recovered. Facing Xiao Yang's heartfelt concern, Xiao Yi only felt a warm current in her heart. Your strength seems to have reached the full saturation of the 8-star Do Emperor? Xiao Yang asked in surprise. Although this Xiao Yi is a fire elf, his strength is extremely terrifying, but this improvement is too fast. Almost, But I have a hunch, it seems that to break through the 8-star Dodi can only enter the next growth stage or some natural treasures. Xiao Yi said slowly. The power of flame required to advance to the next stage is too huge, even if I have holy flame now, it is impossible. The plan for now is to use the treasures of heaven and earth, and I will give you attention. Xiao Yang said. Facing Xiao Yang's straightforward arrangement, Xiao Yi was speechless for a while. Let's go back first. Mu Yingying said skillfully, and then Xiao Yi, who was in a daze and didn't know what she was thinking, also returned to normal. Burning Incense Pavilion Youth Residence. The residence of the young and old is quite elegant, and the concierge is also very simple. At this moment, a young girl took hurried steps and pushed open the door in an instant. The only one who can enter his room so boldly without knocking on the door is probably his precious disciple. Teacher, that Xiao Yang is very strong. Qin Xin just opened the door, and she did not shy away, and spoke directly. Now you know how powerful that guy is. I remember that someone said at the beginning there can't be any outstanding people in the Hall of People. Hey, it looks like now. The old man smiled at Qin Xin rather funny. Teacher. Facing the young man's joke, Qin Xin's cheeks suddenly flushed with a hint of crimson, and then she let out a coquettish anger. All right. How's it going? Seeing that his heartwarming disciple was actually blushing, Qing Lao immediately asked about the matter. As you said, teacher, the Lord of Boundless Mountain is trying to gather the dead beasts in the entire Luoling Mountain, so as to break through the shackles of the mysterious space of Luoling Mountain and enter the human world. But I didn't expect that the Lord of Boundless Mountain was actually a three-tailed demon fox. Qin Xin said. The three-tailed demon fox, sure enough. The old man was not too surprised when he heard the words, but said calmly. Teacher, do you know? Qin Xin's eyes were slightly wrinkled. That's right. But I didn't expect it to be it. The old man's voice was a little sad. Okay, go down and have a good rest. You don't need to worry about Luoling Mountain. The next task for you is to enter the 3, 6, 9, and other places of practice to improve your strength, and to practice the techniques of our heavenly temple. I hope to make a big difference in the sect competition, the old man said with anticipation. Disciple takes orders, Qin Xin said, and then slowly closed the door and left here, because by virtue of her perception, Qin Xin knew that the arrival of the two deputy hall masters, Xiong Yuan and Mu Shuzi, must also be taking care of Luoling Mountain's funeral. Xiao Yang, you are very strong, but I will not lose to you, Qin Xin said slowly, and then went directly to her residence. A thought of becoming stronger and not admitting defeat slowly appeared. Inside the hall of Burning Incense Pavilion. Where's my father? A figure slowly appeared, and then said to the two men guarding the door. Miss, I'm sorry, the hall master has an order. I've seen everyone recently. The two guards just saw Ling Xian, and their expressions became ugly. These two are also quite embarrassing. This Ling Xian is the most favored little daughter of the palace master. I want to let her in. But once the palace master is to blame, the consequences. But don't let her in, this guy is probably going to turn the world upside down. What happened to my father? How come no one is seen? Did something happen? Ling Xian frowned and became serious. Immediately, those big moving eyes kept flickering, as if thinking about some crazy idea. Miss, this is the order of the hall master, please don't make us embarrassed. The two guards could only say with a hint of shyness. I won't force you to. Because I want to go in by myself. After Ling Xian finished speaking, her big eyes were agitated slightly, and then a trace of vindictiveness emerged from her body, and her speed increased to the extreme, like a nimble rabbit, heading directly towards the door. Stop her. The two guards looked at each other, and a huge breath was instantly released. The late stage of the 6-star Dodi. These two guards looked dignified and average in strength, but their strength actually reached the late stage of the 6-star Dodi. In the later stage of the 6-star Do Emperor, even in the Hall of Funxiang Pavilion and the Hall of People, they were the mainstays of existence, and they would actually be reduced to guarding the gates here. This is an unprecedented thing. Shabu. The figures of the two men moved suddenly and appeared in front of Ling Xian in an instant. You guys. When Ling Xian saw that her actions were blocked, she was immediately a little angry. Just as she was about to get angry and make things worse, a voice came. Okay, let her in. A familiar voice came from the house, with an unfathomable sense of oppression. Please. Since the palace master has spoken, the two guards are not good at saying anything, so they just retreated to make way. Humph. Ling Xian let out a coquettish cry, and then walked in with a swagger. Dad, look at the two guards at the door, they didn't let me in. What are they thinking about? Don't they know my identity? Ling Xian said in a puffed-up voice. Her voice was still very loud. Deliberately listened to the two guards at the door. Mass, this guy. The two figures at the door hurriedly cursed after hearing the words. It's not their fault, it's what I meant. After the hall master said, a layer of invisible power appeared, which immediately blocked the sound. Is it your idea? Ling Xian asked with some doubts. Recently, after you entered Luoling Mountain, it seems that people from the ghost world appeared around us burning incense, so I'm investigating. The hall master of the Earth Palace said. People from the ghost world? What are they doing here? Ling Xian heard the words and immediately realized the importance of the matter, and immediately put away her playful disposition. I don't know the specifics, but there have been many gaps in the entrances of the ghost world and our Xian Santian. It will be completely broken in a short time. The battle between the ghost realm and Xian Santian is inevitable. The main speaker of the Earth Palace said earnestly. Father. Ling Xian hurriedly said after hearing this. Since her sister left the Funxiang Pavilion to go out to practice, Ling Xian has been Ling Mengsheng's doting object, and Ling Xian rarely sees her father revealing such an expression. Forget it, you shouldn't worry about these things. The next thing you need to do is to cultivate in the 3, 6, and 9 places. Entering inside, your strength will be improved a lot, and you will have greater confidence in participating in the sect competition. Ling Mengsheng smiled. Father, Xiao Yang from the human palace. Ling Xian also knew that this was not something she should worry about, so she changed the subject. Xiao Yang from the human palace? Strange, why are you asking him? Ling Mengsheng's eyes flashed with a hint of doubt, but he laughed in his heart. Why, there are so many young talents in our Earth Palace who don't look down on them, but instead look at the People's Family Hall? The next moment, Ling Mengsheng suddenly knew something and pretended to be calm. No, when I entered Luoling Mountain this time, I felt that that guy is very strong, so I want to know his details. Ling Xian hurriedly declined, but how could the voice of Tun Tun Wu escape? Rimu has such an old-fashioned vision. Don't worry, I have already checked the details of that guy. He is the alchemist of the Boundary Yu family on the Xianling continent. He participated in the points plundering competition and won the first place, thus entering our burning incense pavilion. Also, although this guy was lucky in the points looting competition, the real thing is the guy who killed the twin ghost emperors. There was some approval in Ling Mengsheng's voice. It's actually true. Ling Xian had always been skeptical about this matter, but now that she heard what her father said, she was immediately surprised. By the way, this guy is not only powerful, but also not bad at refining medicine. It is said that before entering the Funxiang Pavilion, he has already reached the level of the first-rank emperor. Now, I am afraid that it is stronger degree of opening. What? The next moment, Ling Xian was suddenly shocked. Immediately, he recalled the medicinal pill that Xiao Yang gave him in Luoling Mountain. The quality and the medicinal power were far beyond the comparison of ordinary emperor-level medicinal pills. On the Dodi continent, pharmacists are more respected than those with strong fighting qi. How? Would you like to think about it? While this little guy hasn't grown up enough, I'll grab him and make him yours. Ling Mengsheng said to Ling Xian, but before the end of the sentence, Ling Xian's jade hand was pinched. Rimu's waist was filled with disgust. Ah, baby girl, it hurts. Ling Mengsheng hurriedly shut his mouth and said in his mouth. Okay, why does it hurt? Dad, you're getting more and more disrespectful. Although Xiao Yang is strong, I'm not weak. I'm not necessarily worse than him. Besides, how can you force something like that? Even if it's true, I'll be upright. Ling Xian said in a voice that could only be heard by herself. It's all right, let's go down and rest first. Tomorrow should be the time to take you to the training grounds such as 369. Ling Xuan's words were naturally listened to by Ling Mengsheng, but Ling Mengsheng heard the words. Mengsheng didn't speak, but said something else. Yep. Dad, pay more attention to your body, don't know how to cultivate. Ling Xian naturally knew her father's character, so she immediately reminded her, then exited the house and headed towards her residence. Hey, Xiao Yang, you bastard, you actually made the cold little princess in my family care so much about you. If it wasn't for something important, I would definitely go to meet you. Look at how holy you are. After Ling Mengsheng finished speaking, he sat cross-legged and started to practice. At this time, on Rimu Sheng's body, two completely different powers, one black and one white, appeared, and under their subtle control, they constantly nourished the body. With such strength, He has fully entered the realm of 9 stars and 9 ranks. The half-year ruin is the time to save Yang Kai. Ling Mengsheng said slowly, and then he went quiet. The night in the burning incense pavilion was very quiet, the breeze was blowing, and there was a hint of coldness. Have you not slept yet? Wu Zhu stayed inside, Xiao Yang's house was still lit, and then a knock on the door slowly sounded from the door. Well, not yet, I'm going to recuperate the breath in my body for a while and practice. Xiao Yang got up, then came to the door, opened the door directly, and said with a smile. After all, you don't need to guess to know who it is. The one who came is Mu Yingying. Well, I have something to do with you. Mu Yingying looked around and said immediately, come in and talk. Xiao Yang greeted, and it was a little cold outside at night. However, she had some doubts in her heart. What did Mu Yingying have to do with herself this evening? What's the matter? Mu Yingying walked slowly into Xiao Yang's house, and then Xiao Yang asked slowly. After Xiao Yang returned to Wu's Huju, the night gradually fell into the night, and he had no sleepiness, and he had been comprehending the holy flame in his body. After all, since he devoured Xinyan to obtain the full version of the holy flame, Xiao Yang found out that the power of the holy flame is much stronger than he imagined, but Xiao Yang's current strength is limited, and his understanding of the holy flame is still a matter of use. Not up to the level of perfection. When I was still in Luoling Mountain, I vaguely heard you say that the 5 elements beasts seem to be quite important to you. Mu Yingying sat down without the slightest hesitation, and asked directly inquiringly. Yep. The body of the 5-element beast, the demon core and the blood essence are indispensable medicinal materials for a medicinal pill, but in the end I didn't find out where the 5-element beast went, which is a pity. Xiao Yang said in his voice, full of regret. Here. Xiao Yang's voice just fell, when Mu Yingying's slender fingers, a transparent ring slowly turned, and then flashed a strange light. The next moment, a rib containing colorful colors crystals appear slowly. This is the magic core of the 5-element beast. The next moment, Xiao Yang's pupils suddenly shrank, and his eyes became strange. Yep. When you and the spirit of holy flame entered the mysterious space, I paid attention to you, and it happened that Qinshin didn't compete, so I took it away. Mu Yingying said with a smile. However, these 5-element beasts are also strong in the late stage of the 7-star Dodi. Even if their strength is greatly reduced, it is really not easy for Mu Yingying to kill so easily. Xiao Yang secretly said in his heart. The next moment, in front of Mu Yingying, the body and demon core of the 5-element beast slowly lurked. This Mu Yingying obviously only killed the 5-element beast, and did not take out the blood. Xiao Yang could feel the enormous power contained in the magic core of the 5-element beast that exudes the power of 5 colors. For him, this is a rare treasure. This is a must for resurrecting our ancestor Xiao Xian. Are you all right? Mu Yingying looked at Xiao Yang's dazed gaze, and was immediately amused. Could it be that the alchemist is so obsessed with medicinal herbs that she couldn't help asking? Yep. After killing the 5-element beast, only the magic core was taken out to completely drain its vitality. The blood essence still remained in the body, and the body was well protected. Xiao Yang commented, but the excitement in his voice could not be concealed. It's fine. Mu Yingying whispered softly. Thank you. Xiao Yang said to Mu Yingying with a hint of gratitude. Originally, Xiao Yang thought that this time it would be a waste of time, but he did not expect this guy to be so thoughtful. It's all right, it's a job. Since it's all right, then I'll go back first. Mu Yingying had a hint of wanting to leave. After all, people who are lonely in the middle of the night will always make people think about it. Wait, the value of your 5-elements beast is too huge, I'd better exchange it with you. Xiao Yang hesitated for a while, then spoke up. No, we are friends, aren't we? Mu Yingying immediately laughed a little when she heard the words. But even Mu Yingying didn't know how she felt about Xiao Yang. Don't refuse. Xiao Yang laughed, then continued to wonder. Since it is an equivalent exchange, what should I use for an equivalent exchange? Elixir? This is impossible. Although Xiao Yang is now a 2nd-rank pharmacist of the quasi-emperor rank, he has not taken that step. Xiao Yang is still at the peak of the 1st-rank emperor rank, and Mu Yingying seems to be less enthusiastic about medicinal pills than others. Fighting skills? No, Mu Yingying's tyrannical fighting skills emerged one after another, and Xiao Yang didn't have any fighting skills he could use, so he had to give up. This is even more impossible. The currently tyrannical exercises in Xiao Yang's hands are nothing but Fenju. No need. Seeing Xiao Yang's doubts, Mu Yingying said immediately. Yes. Xiao Yang's eyes flickered with a hint of expression, and then he murmured. Come out. Xiao Yang snorted coldly, and then a silver sword with a beautiful texture appeared in his body instantly. This silver sword is the immortal sword that Xiao Yang obtained in that corpse forest. This is. As soon as the silver sword appeared, a chill suddenly appeared in Mu Yingying's heart. The source of this chill is actually the silver sword in front of you. This is an immortal sword that I got by chance. Although it is broken and incomplete, the immortal sword is beyond doubt. Xiao Yang weighed the silver immortal sword in his hand and said, "What a beautiful silver fairy sword. But this thing is too precious, I can't take it." Although Mu Yingying felt a little liking in her heart, she denied it. After all, immortal swords are too precious to be contaminated with immortal characters. Let's put it away first. This fairy sword is also a spiritual thing, but the damage is too serious now. If it is repaired over time, I believe it will be a magical weapon again, and you also know that I have always been melee combat and rulers. If this fairy sword stayed with me, it would be like dust. I also vaguely feel that this guy also wants to shine brightly. Xiao, seeing that Mu Yingying was resigning, Yang hurriedly said. Although Xiao Yang didn't know why, since the appearance of the silver fairy sword, Xiao Yang found that the silver fairy sword seemed to resonate with Mu Yingying, but Mu Yingying was still a little embarrassed. Okay, let's just say goodbye. You have helped me to subdue the 5 elements beast so much. This immortal sword with huge damage can be regarded as a huge advantage for me. If you are trying to shirk it, it will be a bit. Xiao Yang said with a smile. Then I'll accept it. Seeing Xiao Yang's insistence, Mu Yingying did not hesitate immediately, and went directly to the silver immortal sword in Xiao Yang's hand. Good sword. As soon as the silver immortal sword was started, Mu Yingying felt that something in the immortal sword was communicating with her, and immediately whispered, "Okay, go back and have a good rest. As for this immortal sword, I will study it well in the future. I have time to go to Shenling City, where there should be a foundry, and see if it can be repaired." Xiao Yang said, "Yep. The magic core and body of the 5-element beast are here for you. I'll go back first. You just came out of Luoling Mountain, so you should rest well." After Mu Yingying finished speaking, she took the silver fairy sword and left Xiao directly. Burning house. Why does the aura on this guy resemble that of the old man who saved me from the mysterious space he just devoured the holy flame into? Is it an illusion? Xiao Yang looked at Mu Yingying's leaving figure and slowly shook his head. The next day, when the morning sun scattered in the incense pavilion, a busy day began again. Has Luoling Mountain disappeared? This is really beyond my expectations. I didn't think that the Lord of Boundless Mountains could do anything, but I was negligent. In Zhu Laro's house, Zhu Laro said lazily. This matter can also be regarded as our negligence. No one thought that there would be a 3-tailed demon fox in the Boundless Mountain, and its ambition was so great. The spirit of Luoling Mountain could have been saved by our pavilion master at the beginning, but now that it has fallen, Luoling Mountain may no longer exist. On the other side, the voice of the old man slowly sounded. When old Zhu heard this, he smiled slightly. Obviously he knew it for a long time. It doesn't matter if it doesn't exist anymore. After all, this place is also a place of right and wrong. After old Zhu finished speaking, his eyes suddenly became deep. You're here this time, shouldn't it be for this? The next moment, Elder Zhu's voice was a little solemn. Well, the matter of Luoling Mountain is over, and the next thing is other things. The old man's voice carried a strange solemnity, not at all like before. If my expectations are correct, the next step should be to let these disciples enter the training grounds of the 3, 6, 9, and so on, and then practice the fighting skills of their respective halls, so as to welcome the next Shentian sect competition. Zhu Laro said. Yes, but before that, according to what the pavilion master said, after about half a year, there will be a ruin, and it is estimated that a storm will inevitably occur. The old man said slowly, with excitement and regret in his voice. Pavilion master? When old Zhu heard the words, his eyes suddenly shrank tightly, as if he had thought of something. Yes, that's right, this is what the pavilion master told me. The pavilion master asked us to prepare in advance. Even if we are not the biggest winners this time, we cannot let the Shenling royal family get it. After all, the recent Shenling royal family is also quite inconvenient. Taiping, it seems that there is something big to discover. Old Qing said. I know about this. When old Zhu heard the words, a hint of surprise flashed in his heart, but he regained his composure. And the matter of saving Yang Kai will be arranged after the Shenling royal family enters the ruins. Then, Qing Laro opened his mouth slightly when he saw that there was no one around. This matter must wait for the pavilion master to come back to make a trade-off. Elder Zhu finished speaking, his eyes flickered sharply. Obviously, every time he mentioned Yang Kai, Elder Zhu's mood changed significantly. Okay, then wait for the pavilion master to come back. Seeing this, Qing Laro nodded secretly. Now, in the entire burning incense pavilion, apart from the pavilion owner Fen Tian, both experience and strength belong to the most terrifying old Zhu Laro, so Rao respects him quite a bit because of his status as the deputy head of the Qing Laro Dangtang Tian Temple. Let's go back. Today should be the day to bring those little guys into the training grounds such as 369, but don't miss the time. Zhu Laro issued an order to evict guests. Never mind. The old man smiled and left here immediately. Our ruins. Hopefully this time it won't come back without success. Yang Kai, I will rescue you no matter what this time. For the kindness of the other day, I will definitely return you this time, Zhu Jin. After Zhu Jin finished speaking, suddenly his spiritual power surged, and then he worked hard to inscribe the core inscription, as if in the engraved battle array scrolls are normal. Moreover, there are more than 10,000 terrifying core inscriptions, and at that level, I am afraid that ordinary 9-star fighting emperors can't resist. Morning. As soon as the door was opened, the four of them were already waiting outside Wu's Huju. Let's go. Seeing this, Mu Yingying didn't ask any questions. After all, everyone knew what Xiao Yang's experience in Luoling Mountain, so they didn't say much. Xiao Yang himself was helpless. After Mu Yingying left last night, Xiao Yang felt a lot of holy flame in his body, and after confirming that what Mu Yingying brought over was the 5-element beast demon core body and blood essence he needed, only after resting contentedly, this sleep has come to this time. The group slowly left the Wuzhu residence and headed towards a certain place. That place was impressively the cultivation place of the 369th class in the Burning Incense Pavilion. In the Incense Burning Pavilion, it is divided into the outer cabinet of the cabinet. The outer cabinet majored in the 4 books and 5 classics of mind, and cultivated the mind, which is the only source of literati and writers. However, the cabinet advocates both love and non-offensiveness, and is based on kindness. In the cabinet, it is further divided into 3 pavilions of heaven, earth and people, fighting skills pavilion, competition ground, cultivation cave, and refining medicine house. These few Xiao Yang had only been to the competition grounds. Back then, he had just returned from the desert mountain range when he was provoked by Wang Chen of the Hall of Earth. But today, Xiao Yang and everyone went to Cultivation Cave. Cultivation Cave, one of the best unique cultivation places in the Funxiang Pavilion, the nature here is similar to that of the Fenshin Qi refining pagoda on the Doqi continent, which is enough to speed up the cultivation speed. What's more, it is possible to rely on the mystery of Cultivation Cave Heaven to suddenly be the bottleneck that has troubled him for many years. Cultivation caves are divided into 3, 6, and 9 grades. Among them, the first-level cultivation caves are the lowest and worst, and the 9th grades are the best. But for so many years, very few can enter the 9th-level cultivation cave. Really, what are Xiao Yang and the others doing? What time is it now? Why don't you come? Don't they want to go in? So many people are waiting for them, bastards. At the entrance of Cultivation Cave, 2 powerful guards guarded with guns. Among them, 5 people in the ground team were there, and the speaker was Wang Chen. Humph. Are you too embarrassed to say that? Wang Chen's voice just fell, and Ling Xian, a rather elf-looking woman next to her, shouted directly. What? Wang Chen didn't mean anything, he just complained a little. How could he know that Ling Xuan's attitude towards her had changed dramatically? He had come to ask himself for help before, but now he is so indifferent, which makes Wang Chen feel a chill in his heart. Okay, don't shout, it's not too short of time. In the team, a strong man slowly spoke up. Wang Chen immediately became weak when he saw that he wrote the second senior brother to speak. Momentum. Second senior brother is still mighty. Seeing this, Ling Xian made a face at second senior brother. You guy, don't get carried away. This time, when you enter the cultivation cave, there are only our team and your team. However, I'm still a little surprised that Xiao Yang can actually lead you into the 3 major mountain ranges. It seems that this person should not be underestimated. Hehe, that Xiao Yang's strength is not as simple as it seems. For some reason, or out of a woman's intuition, Ling Xian's evaluation of Xiao Yang. To be able to make you comment like this, it seems that this kid is indeed not to be underestimated, but, for me, it's still a little worse. After speaking, a strong breath permeated out. Half-step 7-star fighting emperor? Ling Xian's pupils were slightly shocked. Although I have long heard that this guy's strength may have stepped into the half-step 7-star Do Emperor, but now that he has really seen it, he is inevitably a little shocked. Hey, right? I don't think so. Just as the 5 of the ground team confronted Lingxian, a hearty laughter came, and then the 4 of them walked towards them. Among the 4, there are 2 men and 2 women. The man headed by him carries a heavy black ruler behind his back, giving people an unfathomable feeling. This guy, why didn't you see him for just a day? It made me feel a stronger aura than before. Lingxian's pupils flickered slightly, and her big eyes were full of doubts. How can I say it? In the previous Luolingshan team competition, it was considered to be in the same team as Xiao Yang. After being a partner for a long time, I was still clear about Xiao Yang's basic strength. Back then, when he was still in Luoling Mountain, Xiao Yang's aura was far less sharp. Could it be that he gained some benefits in Luoling Mountain? Lingxian frowned slightly, puzzled. It's finally here. Seeing this, Wang Chen was also slightly surprised. At the beginning, Wang Chen fought against Xiao Yang in order to give Lingxian a head start. Although Xiao Yang's strength was tyrannical at the time, it was far from the terror it is now. The reason why he lost to Xiao Yang in one move was completely careless, but now it is another matter. I don't know why, as if the current Xiao Yang has changed, there is a dangerous aura all over his body. The former Xiao Yang and the current Xiao Yang, although both are the same strength in the late stage of the 6-star Do D, if Wang Chen still had the strength to fight, then now Wang Chen can be said to have no power to fight back against Xiao Yang. Are you Xiao Yang? Zhu Yuan stood at the front of the captain and said slightly to Xiao Yang, with an arrogant tone in his voice. With Zhu Yuan's dignified second senior brother, the half-step 7-star fighting emperor's strength, he naturally had some arrogance towards Xiao Yang. This Xiao Yang's strength seems to have improved. Qin Xindai's eyes were wrinkled and seemed to be thinking. I can't change my name, I can't change my surname. Xiao Yang smiled slowly, a dangerous arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. I heard that you killed the twin ghost emperors? Zhu Yuan asked curiously. Why do you always ask this question? Xiao Yang said in disapproval. As soon as Xiao Yang's voice fell, Mu Yingying and the others around Xiao Yang also laughed. This Xiao Yang's name is well known in the Burning Incense Pavilion, but most of them have only heard of killing the twin ghost emperors. As for who it is unknown. Don't talk nonsense, don't we know what you're thinking? Do you think our temple will be afraid of you? Mu Feng said a little indignantly when he saw Zhu Yuanuo, the second senior brother of the local team, pressing him. Humph. A kid who doesn't even have the strength of a 6-star Do D is worthy of being exchanged with us? Wang Chen was not afraid when he saw that it was Mu Feng. Except for Mu Yingying and Xiao Yang, and the extremely mysterious Xiao Yi, the other 2 of Xiao Yang were only able to complete the 5-star fighting emperor. The 5-star Do Emperor's consummation may be considered good in the outside world, but in the Burning Incense Pavilion, the mainstay can only be regarded as a 6-star Do Emperor. Okay, the scar forgot to hurt. Xiao Yang said to Wang Chen indifferently, but the warning in his voice was too obvious. You. When Wang Chen saw this, the room could only shut up secretly. Forget it, let's talk about these things later. Today is a good time to enter the 369 and other cultivation caves, don't miss the time for this matter. Qinshan on the side seemed to notice the slightest change in the air, and immediately said. All right. Zhu Yuan and the others all spoke up when they saw Qinshan, and they didn't plan to ask any further. Cough cough. The next moment, a space in front of everyone cracked slightly, and then a familiar old man slowly walked out of it. Young and old. Xiao Yang was surprised when he saw this. Because this old man is a young man, today's deputy palace master of the Heavenly Palace. Since everyone has arrived, let's go first. But I have to agree with you in advance. Although there are many benefits to cultivating Dongtian, such as 3, 6, 9, etc., it does not rule out the danger, so everything should be done within one's capacity. Xiao Yang. Out of intuition, Qing Laro knew that this kid would definitely not pass up such a good opportunity easily, but if this kid made a slight mistake, Zhu Laro would not be able to explain it. Teacher, you have said this no less than 100 times. Qin Xin said helplessly. Hey, I'm getting old, so I have to say a few more words. Facing the doubts of his precious disciple, Qing Laro Yi didn't have any displeasure, smiled and led the crowd towards a tight stone room. Outside the stone room, 2 rather old men guarded slowly. Qing Laro, brought someone to practice the cave again? The man on the right side of the stone room smiled slowly. This young man is very well received in the Burning Incense Pavilion, after all, both in terms of strength and personality. This time, it is a rare good seedling in the Hall of Earth and the Hall of People. Qing Laro said with relief, looking at these disciples. Qing Laro felt as if he had returned to his youth. Qing Laro, please. The two men both exited. You two good-fortuned boys, should you have left? Qing Yang asked. Yep. I've learned a lot from Burning Incense Pavilion over the past few years, and I'm ready to go back. The two men said and did not exit. Follow up. Qing Laro and these two seemed to be quite familiar with them. After being polite for a while, they were busy taking care of Xiao Yang and the others. Go in, I can't help you too much with the things inside, the rest is up to you. Old Qing said. Master, what level has the cultivation cave opened to this time? Qinshin said excitedly. Obviously, cultivation in cave is the best way to improve her strength. There are 9 levels in the cultivation cave, and the 9 levels are fully open these days, but you have to do what you can, otherwise the gains will outweigh the losses. Qing Laro said earnestly. If that's the case, then let's go in. After the old man finished speaking, he was humane behind him. As soon as Qing Laro's voice fell, Zhu Yuan and several people from the team behind him immediately got up and walked towards the stone room. Xiao Yang, don't fall behind. Qin Xin said something to Xiao Yang behind her, and then chased away, as if she was afraid of being overtaken by others. What are these 3, 6, 9, etc. Cultivation caves? Xiao Yang was also a little looking forward to being seen by Qing Laro and a few people in this team. After all, even Zhu Yuan's half-step 7-star Do Emperor was quite enthusiastic about this cultivation hole, so it shouldn't be a simple matter. Cultivation caves like number 369 not only have unique cultivation techniques, but also legends say that if you are lucky, you can meet the pavilion masters of our past generations of Burning Incense Pavilion. The next moment, Ling Xian explained to Xiao Yang and the others. If that's the case, then let's get to know this cultivation cave heaven. Xiao Yang finished speaking, took a big step, and then walked towards the cultivation cave sky. I hope these little guys don't let us down this time. The old man and the 2 guards said slowly. This video will end here.